Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Don't forget to love yourself. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. People demand freedom of speech as a compensation for the freedom of thought which they seldom use. To dare is to lose one's footing momentarily. Not to dare is to lose oneself. I see it all perfectly. There are two possible situations. One can either do this or that. My honest opinion and my friendly advice is this: do it or do not do it. You will regret both. Prayer does not change God, but it changes him who prays. Our life always expresses the result of our dominant thoughts. Face the facts of being what you are, for that is what changes what you are. The tyrant dies and his rule is over. The martyr dies and his rule begins. Life has its own hidden forces which you can only discover by living. The function of prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. The highest and most beautiful things in life are not to be heard about, nor read about, nor seen, but, if one will, are to be lived. What is a poet? An unhappy person who conceals profound anguish in his heart, but whose lips are so formed that as sighs and cries pass over them they sound like beautiful music. Boredom is the root of all evil, the despairing refusal to be oneself. Not just in commerce but in the world of ideas to our age is putting on a veritable clearance sale. Everything can be had so dirt cheap that one begins to wonder whether in the end anyone will want to make a bid. People understand me so poorly that they don't even understand my complaint about them not understanding me. Love is all. It gives all. And it takes all. Personality is only right when a man has made the truth his own. Patience is necessary, and one cannot reap immediately where one has sown. Most men pursue pleasure with such breathless haste that they hurry past it. Take away paradox from the thinker and you have a professor. God creates out of nothing. Wonderful, you say? Yes, to be sure, but he does what is still more wonderful. He makes saints out of sinners. Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. Marriage brings one into fatal connection with custom and tradition, and traditions and customs are like the wine and weather, altogether incalculable. It belongs to the imperfection of everything human that man can only attain his desire by passing through its opposite. Old age realizes the dreams of youth. Look at Dean Swift. In his youth he built an asylum for the insane. In his old age he was himself an inmate. Just as in earthly life lovers long for the moment when they are able to breathe forth their love for each other, to let their souls blend in a soft whisper, so the mystic longs for the moment when in prayer he can, as it were, creep into God. The truth is a snare. You cannot have it without being caught. You cannot have the truth in such a way that you catch it, but only in such a way that it catches you. Listen to the cry of a woman in labor at the hour of giving birth. Look at the dying man's struggle at his last extremity, and then tell me whether something that begins and ends thus could be intended for enjoyment. A man who as a physical being is always turned toward the outside, thinking that his happiness lies outside him, finally turns inward and discovers that the source is within him.